So I'm wondering what kind of questions creep up for you when you think about going fee-based. What emotions are coming up? Maybe, I don't know, maybe you feel some anxiety, something you really want to do, but you don't know where to start. You don't know whether this is something that you would do. Or maybe you're telling yourself all these sort of weird and wonderful stories that your clients will never pay any fees. Well, today's episode might just prove you wrong. I'm really excited for today's guest, but I'll introduce him to you soon. And we're going to get into all of that, answer some questions, and maybe give you a roadmap of what is possible if you really set your mind to it. Here we go. Good morning. Yeah, absolutely. If you see the blue mic that's out, then you know we're not in the studio. We are in some weird or wonderful place, which I will reveal in dramatic fashion soon. But before I do that, I just quickly want to say good morning and sort of tell you what to expect today. I think that's it's really an exciting episode ahead. I've been waiting a long time to speak to my guest this morning. And obviously, if you've seen the thumbnail, the thumbnail or the, any of the marketing or any of the things that we did, who this guest is, maybe you don't. If you read the title, you would. But Terence Tobin is with me this morning and really excited to be talking to him. But I just want to sort of say, and this topic this morning is all about building a dream financial planning practice, right? So Albert was in the house first and he said, well, that's what we all strive for. So good morning, Albert. Thank you very much for that. Do stick around. This is going to be an exciting episode. Tracy, good morning. Nice to see you. David Kopp, good morning. Nice to see you as well. Julie Hughes, good morning. Awesome to see you. Good morning, Kobus. Bush Timabula, working from anywhere. Yes. So welcome, Kobus. Not missing an episode. And we've got Govendra, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Mark, good morning. Propellers. Yes, like every week you come up with a new name for us. I really, really love it. Thanks, Marky. You need to send me an invoice for all this marketing work you're doing. Jonita, good morning. Goeiemorgen. Good morning, Arun. Hope you're doing well. Gary, good morning. We've got Almin, good morning. Very, very nice to see you. And my friend Vainan saying hi for a change. I like that coffee. This morning, what are we going to talk about? Well, today we're talking not only about fee-based financial planning, but really what's possible. And I want to get into it really in detail with Terence as far as time will allow this morning, because I want to get into, where did this all start? Get into the niche because he's very specific and very, very clear on his niche. How did he do it? So practical this morning. I begged him this morning before, please, open the kimono. And he said, okay, for a coffee, he'll do something. So definitely looking forward to that. And we also get into the marketing he does, everything that is out there and the technology that he uses. So there's really going to be a jam-packed session when I'm speaking to him. So don't miss that. Then this morning we have Nikki McDonald with us from the FPI. We have Norma back with Coach's Corner. And I'm going to talk very quickly about some technology in terms of processes, which is extremely important. And a bit of a different technology segment this morning. And then I'll get into the conversation with Terence. But alrighty, so good morning, Mark. Awesome to see you. Hope you're doing well. On that note, I'm going to head on over to Nikki for current affairs this morning. So Nikki, over to you.
Good morning, Francois, and good morning to everyone on this Friday the 13th. May it be a positive day for everyone. So let's get right into the news. On Wednesday, the High Court in Pretoria ruled in favor of the divorcing of spouses who are married out of community of property without the accrual agreement to be compensated for their contribution to the marriage. So in this ruling, the court declared Section 7.3 of the Divorce Act as inconsistent with the Constitution and invalid. Individuals married out of community of property without the accrual will now be entitled to claim a redistribution of assets despite the content of their signed antenuptial contract. It should, however, be kept in mind that such a redistribution claim is not an automatic entitlement. They will have to go to court, And the court hearing such an application will then have to decide upon not only whether such a spouse is entitled to a claim, but also the extent thereof, which may differ greatly from matter to matter. Although the door is already closed for divorces that have been finalized, couples whose divorces are pending can apply for redistribution. Now, this is a Gauteng North High Court decision, so it will be interesting to see whether this goes on to the SCA or if it stands by itself. Then the latest debt index from Debtbuster shows that middle-class South Africans are falling further into debt, as a 6-year decline in disposable income and a higher debt burden have contributed to the financial challenges many South Africans are facing. Data from the debt management company shows that for those taking home more than 20,000 Rand a month, the total debt to annual net income ratio has spiraled to 150%, which is quite bad. The group says that its quarterly debt report is compiled from data provided by clients who have applied for debt counseling. The analysis found that 2 years after the start of the coronavirus pandemic, nominal income declined marginally. But when the effect of cumulative inflation over the past 6 years is considered, in real terms, South Africans have 31% less disposable income. Consumers are making up the shortfall in real income by borrowing. The consequence of this higher debt burden is that consumers need to spend about 62% of their take-home pay to service their debt. Some counseling to do their fellow financial advisors. Then for everyone who's following the Mirror Trading International Ponzi scam, I read yesterday that their liquidators have issued a joint summons against 18 individuals, including Johan Steinberg, to pay more than 4.6 billion to cover the scheme's debts with 7% interest. This was based on the shortfall in the 6,900 Bitcoin owed to investors at the date of liquidation. It would be interesting to see if they actually get some of that money back. And then, just to make you feel old this morning, Apple's Ipod, a groundbreaking device that upended the music and electronics industries more than 2 decades ago, is no more. The company announced on Tuesday that it would discontinue the iPod Touch, the last remnant of a product line that first went on sale in October 2001. The touchscreen model, which launched in 2007, will remain on sale until supplies run out. So if you want to get one of the last ones, now's your time. Apple released dozens of versions of the iPod over the years, but the product was gradually eclipsed by its other devices, especially the iPhone. And that led to the company to begin phasing out models in 2014. And on that note, Francois, that is the news for this week.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think it's great when a company is actually able to, how would you put that? Like sort of almost cancel a product or remove a product from the product line, when they've built a device themselves that can replace all of that, or that does replace all of that. And it does show you that, making those decisions are absolutely necessary. And I'm pretty sure, like anything else in life, things make a comeback later, right? Because of nostalgia. So just give it like 15, 20, 30, 40 years, like He-Man. He-Man is making a comeback. So let's see what transpires there. But awesome stuff. Alrighty. So, I can't wait for the next segment, which is going to be Norma. Norma today is talking about the secret to getting and maintaining your health. So really excited for that.
Good morning. My topic for today is how to get healthy and really maintain it. So we all know how important health is just in our general lives. When, time outside of our business and time because we're sick or we don't feel emotionally well, what that can do to our lives and to our businesses. So I think the easiest way and the way that we can set ourselves up for success is really to make health like part of something that's already so important to us. So I know for all of you, you're all business owners, you're entrepreneurs, and very successful already. You're already making such a big contribution to your clients. You're educating them. You give them protection, and you also help them build wealth. So to something that's already important to you, which is the business, just taking health and incorporating it there. So it's basically default for you to spend time in your business, to go and sell and market and be innovative and network and using technology and using all of these amazing things to make your businesses even more successful. So all of those pillars make up a successful business. So why not take health and slot it in there and make it part of the business, so that it is part of your day? Just like selling and marketing and all of those things are part of your day, health is part of your day. So the second thing that I want to allude to is that anything that is important to us, and again, referring to your businesses, we put intention into it, we make decisions ahead of time, and we plan. So that's already stuff that you do in your business. So you don't come into the office on a Monday morning and think to yourself, well, what am I going to be doing this week? You already have a very specific plan. We plan our businesses month in advance. So we can use that same concept to getting healthy and maintaining that health. And really what that looks like on a practical level is really just 4 things that we need to do to get healthy and maintain it. And specifically when it comes to physical health. So number 1 is that we always need to make a plan. So as you have the plan for your business, we have that plan for our health as well. So when I plan my business week on let's say Saturday, Sunday afternoon, I plan my week in terms of food. So I call that my protocol. That's my plan. That is exactly what I'll be doing this week. Number 2 is that I eat only what's on the plan. So you have your business plan, you know what you'll be doing this week. You're only going to spend time on those things. You know what you'll be doing on Wednesday at 12, at Friday at 9. So exactly the same thing. And we don't try and deviate from what's on the plan. So the same with our eating. This is my protocol, and this is what I'm going to eat, and I'm only going to be eating that. And then number 3 is to allow any urges. So like we in our businesses and we get distracted, we get emails, we get phone calls, and we don't want those things to distract ourselves. So we just set those things aside and we focus on what is important. The same with our eating plan. So we allow for everything and all distractions. We allow all the urges for food, and we stick to buy what we said we're going to do. Because urges sometimes feel so important, and sometimes we feel we're going to die if we don't have that thing. But we don't always have to satisfy it. And then number 4 is just to repeat the process. And that is really that simple and that basic, how we can get healthy and maintain that health. So just to bring all of this together, as I've started this conversation, is how important health is. And if we look at anything that is successful, it's supported by certain rituals and certain routines and certain very important things and focuses. And health needs to be one of those things, because if that pillar of health isn't there, the roof is going to collapse. So these are the things that I offer, which is really in the end going to be improving my life and my business. And I want all of my areas of life to be successful. And just like I can't put the cart in front of the horse, I can't put my business in front of my health, because my health is really the core. This is really the thing that pushes and pulls. So my health can really stand alone, but my business can't stand alone. So if I don't have my health, my business are not going to be there. But I don't have to have the other things to have my health. But we want, obviously, all of those things. All of those things needs to be in place for us to thrive as an individual and to just evolve and just become the best version of ourselves. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you again next week.
Awesome stuff. Right, I'm about to reveal where I am. So hold on one more minute or two, because first we're going to talk technology. Yeah. So what I want to talk about today is processes and the importance of processes, but also how does that play with technology, and that's quite important. So when it does come to the processes in our business, I think there's really three aspects of process, right? So apart from everything else, about coming up with the processes, designing the processes, reviewing the processes, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the process itself. There's three aspects, and the first one is following process, because why do we have process if we don't follow it? Then managing the process, quite important. And then the third one is automating process. And you would have heard me talk a lot about automation in the last while. I've been using it extensively. I built some more stuff last night, so I get very excited about what this does for me and the time it saves me. So investing into automation is absolutely worth it. All right. Anyway, so let's get into the first aspect, which is following. And when I talk about following it, I talk about the actual steps. So you start at step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. You don't go step 1, jump to step 4, come back to step 2. So very important that you and your team and the business follows these steps. So that's what that is about. And what we really want to do is make it as easy as possible to follow those. So be it, it's a very clear instruction. You need to do this. Once you've done that, you do this. Once you've done that, you do this, but easy to follow. So it makes sure that we don't miss anything. It makes sure that, things don't fall through the cracks. So it's very, very important that process is there to be followed and to be enforced from that point. And then the last one is that, it makes it easy for new and experienced team members alike. Just think about, you lose your most precious admin assistant, and he or she decides that, listen, they're going to go, become a financial advisor, or they move on to another business, or they leave the industry and they could do something completely different. Then, you slot somebody new in there. The biggest pain is training that person up. But when you have process that's documented and available in a system, then it makes it so easy for them to follow. Oh, you need to do an address change. Boom. Yeah, this is what you need to do. You need to do a section 14. Not so simple. This is what you need. It's all there. You can't go wrong. If you can read, you can go very far. Right. So that's the first aspect, which is following. The second one, when it comes to managing process, what you're really looking for here is to, obviously want to know when tasks are overdue or when they're due soon. So those kind of things are very, very important, but also you want to know who's sitting with what. So which team member is sitting with work? Is their work moving? What is the turnaround time? Like, how long does specific tasks take? And those kind of information, which for me is management information, really at the end of the day, is very important. And I think a lot of times when people go and use things like Microsoft projects, or they use something like Trello or Notion or any of these kind of tools in order to manage their processes and the work that they've got, that only talks to managing. It's the only thing you can really do from that perspective. So it's still very manual input. It's still based on somebody that needs to tick something or move something or drag something somewhere else. Very easy to do. But that's all got to do with managing the work. So the last aspect when it comes to processes, as I said, for me, is automating processes. And that's extremely important that you use that. So when you have a process, to go and identify in that process which steps can be automated. And I think about things like follow-ups. If something is still outstanding, to automatically send an email to follow up, or at least be reminded automatically, being able to receive a report automatically without having to go and put in criteria and then download the report and look at it. You just find it in your inbox already set up in the way that you want it. So that's a form of automation from that point of view. Also, to be able to send feedback whenever a specific step is completed or a specific task is completed, the system sends off an email with that feedback to the client, and maybe to you or to the person who's been doing this, and important. And if you've got a client portal, probably it can go through the client portal to the client securely. So there's many ways that can be automated. Then also, what can happen is, like, once a task is done, let's just think about onboarding. Onboarding consists of several tasks. So from gathering the information, getting the information into the system, making sure certain documents are signed, maybe sending off a welcome gift, or there's a welcome call, or there's something that needs to happen from an onboarding perspective in your world, then as those tasks get completed, what you really want to do is for those tasks to be automatically kicked off. So when you finish one, it starts another one. Nobody needs to go into the system, fill in the information, create a task, or go create a card or whatever. It just happens. It saves so much time. And in my talk about employing technology in your business, it really, I focus on, don't underestimate the 10 seconds you can save, or the 30 seconds, or the 1 minute that you can save. It makes a massive, massive difference when you add it up over a month or a year. And I'm not even talking about 10 years, how much time you save because of that one little thing that was implemented. And then obviously, I think a big part that we all want to automate is record keeping. So be it your emails that's being sent between you and clients, whether it's documents that get signed and comes back, and every step of things that was done, like an audit trail almost of everything that was done. Very, very important. So that's just what I want to talk about today. So just consider the technology that you're using, find out what it can do for you in this regard, and go and use it and implement it in your business. Invest the time, invest the effort, invest the, I don't want to call it pain. It is painful in the beginning, like as you learn this stuff and you're not comfortable with it, but you have to. It's the best thing you can do for your business. Alrighty, so quick announcements. Let me first show you where I am. This is where I am. So anybody wants to maybe guess? And by the way, one of the big things we're doing today is giving away a ticket to the Global Financial Planning Conference, and it will include the day of CPD. So all you need to do to enter is to, from this point onwards, to comment. So if you want to enter, all you need to do is take part in the conversation. I don't care what you say, so as long as it's above board and nice and positive, like we all are here, then you will be entered automatically, and we'll do the draw right at the end. So if you want that ticket, then stick around and comment, talk to us. All right. So anybody wants to guess where I am? Put it in the comments. I will let you know if you're right or not. But that's sort of that. So let me take that off. Right. So what's happening? So obviously the Global Financial Planning Conference next week. Time is really running out now to get your tickets. Tickets have literally been flying this last week, in particular the last 2 days. It's been crazy to see what's happening. And I think as we release the agenda, that also now people can see, whoa, this is amazing. How many speakers we are, what they're going to talk about, etc., as well as the day of CPD. That's a third day that happens on the 1st of June. We'll give you 18 verifiable CPD points, of which on the day we are doing live sessions, and those things will be sent out to all ticket holders to go and register for those sessions. And that's what I was building the automation for that I was talking about earlier. So that's going to be a seamless, easy process for all of us. If you're interested, comment below. Maybe you get a ticket and you can experience all of this. But please, if you want to still go get your ticket, if you're not the lucky winner today, then you can still get it. It's just propulsion.co.za/GFPC22. I think I also linked it down below. But also, it is all the information is there. Please, I get so many questions around, is there CPD? Yes, there's CPD, but this is how it works. Go look at the website, please. I beg you. Just go read. All the information is there. And so it's an important and an amazing event. What we're trying to achieve with this, I think, is very noble, and it's something humble that we are doing, and really, really privileged to be able to be part of this. So please support us. Go to propulsion.co.za/GFPC22. Prices are 290 Rand a ticket. It's really half of what you pay when you go to Stad Kinikor, with a lot more value and things that can actually help you change your life and your business. So happiness. All right. So that is the only announcements for today. Now I am getting into my conversation with Mr. Terence Tobin, so I can't wait for that. So if you don't have a coffee, grab it very quickly. You've got 10 seconds. But Terence, I hope you're ready for me, because I'm ready for you. And let's get into this amazing conversation. There we go. Morning, Terence.
Good morning, Francois.
Awesome. Welcome. Let me just start off by saying this, right? So Terence is the original first viewer of this show. So if it wasn't for Terence, we wouldn't be here. I think if nobody pitched on the 20th of March, I would probably say, I wonder if this is a good idea. But anyway, Terence, warm welcome to Propulsion Live.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor to be on your show. Thank you, Francois.
Yeah, man, really looking forward to this conversation. There's quite a few things that I want to get into, but most prominently, I know I always ask my guests, like tell us a little bit about yourself, and but I really with you want to get into where this all started for you. So maybe for people, like if there's anyone here who hasn't seen you like on social or somewhere else, then just very quickly, who are you, your business, and then I really want to get into where did this all start for you?
So we'll keep it short because it's a very long story, but I entered financial services about 20 years ago and got into financial planning just over 14 years ago. And it's for the passion and the love of seeing people reach and achieve their goals, making sure that they can make wise and informed financial decisions. Because growing up, I saw that was a stumbling block often in my family and conversations in my household. And there was a taboo subject was to talk about money, and I didn't understand why. And there was a lot of misunderstandings. And that's why I wanted to get into financial services and to work with people and help them achieve what's important to them. I, as expected, joined financial services through a tied agency to get going. And it was a great learning place. But from there, I kept clashing with the principle of the agency. Because the typical, do a budget, see how much people earn, see how much people spend, so you can see their disposable income. And then the bright box says, match a policy. And that, my heart jumped out my chest, because that makes absolutely no sense. And his response to that was, but look at the commission you can earn. And that still just didn't feel right. Francois, I know we need to earn and we all run a business, but we've got to do what's fair and what's just by a client, because that's how I would want to be treated if someone was sitting with me or my family. So I started learning, I think, how not to do things, which was very enlightening. And then I moved across, because we were clashing, I moved across to one of the banks, and I was at the bank for 7 years as a bank broker, and I didn't want to be a bank broker. So even inside the bank, I started differentiating myself. Like having client events, having newsletters. There was often a clash and having to get corporate identity to sign off on things. But I wanted to always set myself apart and not just be part of, run-of-the-mill type advisor. I really wanted people to have an amazing experience. And then RDR loomed its head and the first draft came out, and I read how our commission is going to change. And I thought, that is brilliant. That's what we need. Is to be paid for our knowledge, our expertise, not when we implement something. And obviously I was probably the only voice in the bank that was saying this is marvelous, and everyone else thought they were going to lose their jobs. And Francois, there was a conference I attended where there was 2 amazing speakers from the States that just, that was it. Those were the light bulb moments where you can run a fee-based practice like a doctor, get paid for your advice, not the implementation. And that's where Rich Ideas was born.
Yes, I love that. I remember this whole thing with RDR that came, right? I was in practice back then, sort of. I say sort of because I didn't really work that hard. But you have to enjoy what you do, right? So I didn't. So yeah, bank broker. But yeah, sorry for that. But I attended the session that Masthead, because remember Masthead back then, they really got into these, I don't know what they called it back then, but it was these RDR sessions and practice management sessions where they wanted to help you to, change your value proposition and move into fees, things we still try and do today, like what's that, 9 years later. Yeah. And I remember just sitting there before we started, and around the room, you look around the room, and I say this always with respect, like it's everybody that was sort of, I think, late in their journey, in their practice. So they've been around for a long time. All they know is sort of the traditional way of doing it. And the conversation around the table was that, now the people who really need financial planning can't afford it. Right. So that's the conversation. And I'm sitting there as a young guy thinking, I was still young back then, 9 years ago. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, just do you hear yourself? You know, and unfortunately at that point, I never spoke up. Like now I will definitely like, guys, come on, you know, but what they missed was that there must be another way of serving these clients who can't afford it. Plus, you're not working with them now, so please don't, you know, sort of like we like to poke holes in the things that we need to, or when we want to, because we're afraid we don't know what to expect or how to actually do this. And that for me was an enlightening moment. And I think still to today, some people have got it right, some people haven't. But you know, we're moving in that direction where we find like there's different ways of doing things. And in that, I want to actually get to my next question, Terence, is, you know, I look at what you've built, and I don't think I really know and understand, right? So I mean, we don't spend that much time. But for me, it is like, if I look at what you're doing, what you're saying, and I love it. You just said policy, that doesn't sit well with you. Even your LinkedIn headline starts with financial advice, not policy sales, or something to that effect. So you're very vocal about that, and you're very, you know, what's the word now? Like intentional with that. I mean, you stick to that. But where did this vision really start? Because it's one thing to have a vision, but like, I mean, how long did it take you? I mean, did you just go on that day and say, no, I don't like that, I want to do it this way? Or how did that vision of yours, of what you're building at Rich Ideas today, how did that come about, and how has that shaped over the last few years in particular?
And that's the interesting one, because that overnight success takes 20 years to build, from what I've been told. It was at that moment, at that conference, where I thought, yes, here's models that work, that can work, and I need to now learn. And that's where I spent probably the next 3 to 4 years understanding value proposition, because we throw that around a lot, but what is a value proposition? How do we do it? How do we articulate? What makes us different? Because I feel every financial advisor in South Africa is my colleague. We're not in competition with each other. And as you said, there is so much opportunity out there that, you know, there's so many problems out there we still need to solve for clients. But I realized that we can spend so much time having these conversations, which are exceptionally valuable, but it's then at our expense. And we, for the benefit of the client, need to stay in business. And making a profit shouldn't be a dirty word. It's, you know, people should want to pay us a fair amount of money so that we stay in business to continue looking after them. And that's when I had to take that and now articulate it. So who do I want to work with? When I get out of bed, I need to look at my diary and go, yes, I'm seeing Bob, Sue, and Francois. This is amazing. I can't wait for the day. As opposed to being like, oh, good grief. Okay, I've got to talk to these people today and sell them something. And you've got to look forward to the work that you want to do. It's got to excite you. So who excites you? And then what problems do you like solving for those people? And that's where I settled on families, because I'm in that bracket. I am going through that with them. I can experience the journey together. And now the merit is I have so many conversations with people in this space that when I sit with families we chat, they often feel like, oh, but it's only me. Only I have this thing. And I can go, no, but I've spoken to someone actually yesterday or last Monday or similar situation. And there's a lot of relatability. So it was how to design that. And that process probably took me a year of consistent work, throw it out the window, do it again, throw it out the window, do it again. Then only I figured out my fee model. And we're still tweaking that today, Francois.
And I like that, Terence, because I think too many people just, I can't afford to make a mistake. I can't afford to take a dip in income. I can't afford to have a client leave me, for example. Yet you went and you just stuck to it. Because I think a lot of people think, oh, you just recently started. Like, no, I think very few people know about your history, that you were you were a tied agent. You were at the bank for 7 years. I mean, that's a long time. So you came into this IFA space as, you know, experienced, I think from that point of view, but also very inexperienced, because like I'm going to figure this out. I know I want to do it differently. I've got some sort of an idea, but I'm not sure. It's not like the people here saying, oh, it looks like you're in the Cape. That's a bit broad, guys. Like, go with, like, you are in this place in Cape Town. Yes, I'm in the Cape. Okay, but where in the Cape am I? Like, come on, don't be so broad. But that's exactly what you did. You know, that's where you started. And you sort of lead me nicely into this whole niching thing, but also not just that. And I wanted to ask you, like, is it because you in that space of your life as well? I mean, I can see you're very fond of your daughter and you go away with the family a lot. So you're definitely very heavily involved. You know what they're going through, probably what the challenges are. And hence, you know, I always say your ideal client is somebody like you. Like you've heard that before, right? So just look where you are and then go look for those, because you've got lots to talk about. But now, like, let's talk about the fee model for those people, because I mean, that's a broad audience still, if you think about it, you know, families, particularly parents with kids. There's lots of them. If I go to Doppio Zero, like there's 6 million prams there. Like not one trolley, not one grocery trolley, there's only prams. So it is still a broad market, right? But you're very clear like on that. So how have you gone about, you know, I mean, share what you can share, what you're willing to share around how do you charge the fees? What do you find with your clients? Are they happy to pay those fees? You know, what are some of the challenges? But let's just start off with, you know, like how do you charge and do you charge for everything? I think is another question.
So when figuring out how to implement this, it was part of my 5-year business plan, was phasing in my fee-based practice when I applied for my FSP license. And we started that journey, Francois, with first reducing upfront commission on risk policies and taking more as a trail. And over time, I rebalanced that scale. So less upfront, more trail, less upfront, more trail, till eventually I take now no upfront commission on anything or any products. And I know you asked about fee, but that's how I transitioned from commission into fee. Then we had our good old March 2020 lockdown and we all get sent home. And I thought at that point in time, either this business is going to succeed or it's going to fail. And I believe in my business plan. I believe in what I want to do. I freaked out my business partner and we switched everything on in that business plan. And we implemented a 5-year business plan in 8 weeks. And I went live. And at that point in time, I decided that I was going to have 3 models for financial planning. So if you had a single need, 2 needs, and then holistic full financial planning. And I came up with how much time I'm going to need to do this, how many consults we're going to need, and then priced that and put that out in the market. That was March 2020. From June 2020 till today, I have a 6 to 8 week waiting time for clients to have a first appointment with me. And I'm pretty sure, because I put it on my website, none of this is hidden. So before you sit with me, you know I'm a fee-based planner. You know I'm going to invoice you upfront before we start working, and you know what the fee is, because we also discussed it in that first session. And I'm pretty sure I will lose a lot of people along that process, but they're not the right people for me then. So it's not the scarcity. It's like, you just weren't right, and that's cool. The same way I'm not right for every product and service out there either. And then, Francois, to finish this thought off, is that started getting complicated because I want to do full financial planning. I don't just want to do single need. So I scrapped the single and 2 need options or plans about 4 or 5 months in. We now do single need financial planning, and everyone in Rich Ideas, all my other advisors, we all follow the same model, but at different fees because there's different value propositions, levels of experience, qualification, etc. And yeah, once the client says, yes, I'm on board, we send an invoice, and a couple of days later, you get the EFT and we start working.
Yeah, I really like that. And yeah, it's, you know, you think about like people not, because I think we're so afraid of losing, right? Because we don't like being rejected. Let's just be honest about that. It's not nice being rejected. The nice thing about, like, because if there's one thing about South African businesses that gets me, that like frustrates the living hell out of me, you do not find their pricing on their website. Like that is just like, you can't find that. I mean, sometimes it feels to me you battle to get a price on Take A Lot, but it's just like really, really annoying. And I think it's because, like, if I need to phone you to find out what your pricing is, I promise you I'm not going to phone you. Like, that's me, right? So I don't know if that strategy still works to get people to phone you because, oh, I have information that you want and now I can speak to you and that kind of stuff. I think we need to get over that. But also, like, you know, often I believe that you will lose this client now, not lose, you didn't have the client, so there's no way you can lose that client, right? And I loved Mel's comment. I just want to bring it on. Let me just find it here quickly. So I did bring it on earlier. She says, one of my clients left me when I introduced fees. She was horrified and moved to a discovery broker. They don't charge fees at all. lol, sometimes you have to lose the battle to win the war. And that's absolutely what it is. If you really believe in what you do, then stick to that. And often that client isn't the right client now, or not even that. They're not ready to work in the way you want to. But trust me, down the line, they keep on seeing you. They keep on hearing from their friends about you, because remember, these people tend to move in the same circle. So very, very important. I think that just they will come there. It's like you've got early adopters, and then you've got the adopters, and then you have late adopters. So just stick around long enough. What I do just want to quickly, before I get into the next section, is you spoke about, like, you first started building up basically assets under management and trail fees and as and when commissions and things like that. So I think that was a very, very clever way of transitioning into this, because what you did was you removed the need of having to have a client today every single day. So it's sort of a journey then, is what I'm hearing you say, is going from, yes, I was I earned commission on products that I introduced, etc., but I had a sort of a code of conduct, and I knew when I wanted to introduce something and when not. Then I started doing more as and when, sort of balancing that scale, getting to a point where I do have recurring income coming in, and then made the switch. And also, just a question on that: did you focus on new clients from that point onwards to be fee-based, or did you even go back to your existing clients and say, guys, this is how we're working going forward?
It's a wonderful question. So the fee-based was for new people through the door. The existing clients all got messages and newsletters from me. Where we are now a fee-based practice, in time fees will become part of our conversation. But for them, I would phase it in. What I also look at, Francois, is, we have to work out what we need to earn per head or per client. We have fixed operating expenses as a business. And what do we need to bring in to cover that, cover expenses, make a little bit of profit, and then see which clients are above the line and which clients are below the line, and then have those conversations. And I've started that journey this year, and having those conversations with some clients are very low touch. They know they're very low need. We've done a bond cover for them. And you try and discuss the rest of their financial planning, and they're not interested. They don't have, desire to do so. And I'll keep you on the books, but we'll then service you and assist you at your annual reviews. But if you want to go above and beyond, I'm going to introduce a fee. And I never, ever want to lose a person, but if we're not a good fit anymore, then, maybe let's find somebody else. But a fascinating one, Francois, is every single client, maybe not in Mel's case, but every single client knows they're going to pay something. Unfortunately, us as an industry has always hidden that. And if you come out from chapter 1 on your website or first meeting going, these are the fees I charge you because this is what you're going to get for it. Now, we can use what you have in your portfolio, or if you want to go to a direct investment provider yourself and do it, that's perfect. Much the way the doctor gives you a script and you can go to Clicks, Discam, wherever you wish, the doctor doesn't really care. With me, if you want us now to implement, well, then the implementation fee is separate, and that's the fee or the commission in a product. And maybe not to go too far down the rabbit hole, but I've got a number of clients where there's still no commission on their products, there's no assets under management fee. Every time they want to allocate funds, every time they want a tax certificate, they want a review, they pay for that. And they are delighted to do so. And it's an amazing conversation to have with people who value and appreciate you, what you bring to the table, and will pay you fairly for it. And it's having those open and honest, those courageous conversations with your clients and with yourself, so that you know how to position yourself. But I never see a doctor. I recently had surgery, and the pre-surgery quote for the surgeon alone for 40 minutes was 17,000 Rand. That man doesn't bat an eyelid issuing that invoice. Why should we bat an eyelid issuing an invoice for our knowledge, our expertise, what we bring to the table?
And they only, just by the way, just focus on, what's the symptoms? And that's the thing. Oh, you have a pain there. Let's fix that for you. They don't get to know you. They don't, even know your kids are or anything. So, it's amazing that.
Up with me after the surgery either. Like, how you doing? How you feeling? There's no relationship. It's transactional.
And did you have to complete the notorious yellow file in his office, or was it electronic?
Yeah, no, yellow file with a pencil.
You do all the work, but you need to pay. Like, that's fantastic. Anyway, what was the question I wanted to ask you now around the single needs, Terence? So I believe that there is going to be sort of going forward. So there's almost like you have your client base, and they're going to tend to be a little bit older. And if I say like maybe like 30s, mid 30s later on, so that's not old. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean, they are. Like, because it's funny, right? I always believe like everybody's so, oh no, this is the world and everything. Until they have kids, then we're all the same. Like, there's no difference. Once you have a child, you have the same worries as the person who's 40 with a kid. Like, it doesn't really matter that you're only 25. But anyway, so what I do believe is that what is going to happen, specifically early on when somebody starts looking at their finances, is now think about those guys that the people were talking around the masthead table, and it wasn't masthead, it was the people attending that thing. Let me just be clear. So what they did was they were saying like, oh, these people can't afford it. But I think what's going to happen is as those people come in and they have access to all of these different sort of information online, etc., what we can expect them to do is to say, listen, like, whoa, this is information, but, Terence, and I'm sure you do a lot of this because you are so active on a place like Twitter, for example, and people do engage with you fantastically, so that people come to you for once-off advice or to rubber stamp what they want to do, and then they go off and go and do it. So do you see more of that happening? Are you fulfilling that service? You're talking about once-off needs. Now, if you assist somebody with once-off needs, it doesn't mean that you're implementing a product necessarily. It might just be explaining advice to help them go and implement that product or make a decision around, do I want to buy the car? Do I want to finance whatever? But do you find that you're doing more of those?
A lot. That's a lot. A lot of inquiries come through, and so many people, and it's fantastic to see, have a really good handle on their finances. They know kind of what they're doing. They've got stuff set up, but they just want that like second opinion. Like, Terence, what am I missing? Or what could I do better? Or what could I do differently? And for that, they're happy to pay you a consult fee or like an audit fee to go through their scenario, through their situation, through their benefits, re-explain benefits, tell them, but if you consider this, then this could be the consequence of your decision. So bear that in mind one day when you sell those shares, or, understanding the estate implications of decisions that they've made, or how to structure things in a more beneficial way. Or sometimes it's as simple as, yes, you can use a tax-free savings account for your kids' education, but then understand the impact of your lifetime limit. And for many of them, they kind of knew that, but they needed that certainty. And exactly that now, a knowledgeable, qualified financial advisor is kind of rubber stamping their plan. And we get that a lot. That's probably a quarter to a third of the inquiries I have, is where wonderful families manage and run their own portfolios. We just come in as that blind spot check, the bounce the idea, the how are we doing, and also the accountability partner. I've got a number of clients who are on a monthly retainer. We have regular sessions, as you said, monthly retainer every month, just to make sure we are on track. And if something now comes to light, what is the impact on my plan? And there's nothing being sold there. It's a conversation, it's a discussion, it's a strategy session, and it holds immense value for both parties. And it's amazingly fulfilling. So having that, and like you said, Francois, is not hiding things on your website. So for me, it's a good and a bad. It's a filtering process, because yes, sadly, I will lose some, but maybe they weren't for me. And those that do come through the door, well, they already know what's going to happen, how much it's going to cost, what's the process. And in early days, when I pitched my first ever fee, the chap said to me, but my guy at Liberty doesn't charge. I'm like, you're right, but why aren't you talking to him about this problem? No, because he says he doesn't do this kind of stuff. I'm like, well, there we go, my friend. And that fee, Francois, was $350, and he wouldn't pay it.
Yeah. Yeah, but you see that's also where it starts, right? So when they get the value, and I don't know, like I found that when people do pay, they've got sort of skin in the game, and it's a completely different experience for them, than what they had before. because suddenly they act, suddenly they do something with what you do because they actually paid money. It's amazing, like when they think they don't pay and it goes somewhere else and somebody else is paying, and they are paying in the end, even though they can't see it. There's a very good question here from Gary Walker that I just quickly want to raise with you, and I can see we're already running out of time. So he says, good morning. How and who manages invoicing, fees, payment, and what does that add to the cost of servicing the client? Is this built into your CRM? And if so, what system are you using? I just want to sort of comment on what cost does it, what's the cost it adds to servicing the client? Well, for me, it's like there shouldn't be, that should be offset by the fact that nothing can lapse, and by the fact that you get your money immediately and not wait for it and then hope for 24 months that things stick around. But that's just me. So, Terence?
So that the invoicing and the fee for the client is handled by the advisor in Rich Ideas. So we do that. Client either does an EFT, or we have now implemented PayFast so they can, do it online themselves. The cost, Gary, is an interesting one, because you're going to have your first session, an intro session, and we all say that is complimentary, and that's at our expense. We don't say it's free, it's at our expense. And if the client then onboards, well, it takes you 10 minutes to capture them on CRM and send an invoice. So, there's very little cost to manage that process. It's handled through Xero accounting. And then once that's paid, now we get consent letters signed. Now we start using Asset Map, and now we start the automation process of data gathering, booking the first appointment, and actually getting into the financial planning.
Any particular system you're using to issue the invoices and to manage the invoices?
So we use Xero for that. We found that quite easy to use, and the reminders and the reporting that comes out of Xero has been our preference for that. And from a CRM point of view, it's called Less Annoying CRM. It's not actually for financial advisors. It's a generic one, but it is spectacular for our needs. And we use Asset Map for a lot of our analysis. And then we have a few other tools here and there.
Awesome. Great stuff. Thanks for that, Terence. I want to get a little bit quickly into the marketing you do for your business, because like you are all over the place, and in a good way, not like somebody who doesn't know, like a headless chicken. You are just, your work rate, I must say, I sit there sometimes and like, Terence, one, where do you get the energy? To just how efficient are you to get all this stuff done? But just very quickly, take me through the marketing you do for Rich Ideas, because you're on various platforms. You've been on TV, radio, you've got your own podcast. Just a quick sense of what you use and what does it mean for your business.
So I got my inspiration to do all of that, and I'm still inspired by him today. He does all of that, and that's Cobus Klein, who's been on your show a few times, and we all know the legend that is Cobus Klein, and that's my inspiration. And what I learned a number of years ago was be yourself, be authentic, and the messages I put out, the podcasts I put out, the conversations I have are exactly the same as the conversations I'll have with clients. And what confirmed that for me was it's my third or fourth podcast I put out, and a chap booked an appointment. And in that Calendly, because I use that, it's name, surname, etc. And I go, what made you reach out to book the session? And he says, I listened to your podcast where you said something was a cuck investment, and I knew you were the guy I wanted to work with. Ladies and gents, speak to people like people. Don't speak to people with legal, technical jargon. They're not interested in that. So always be authentic, because you'll attract the same type of people back to you and your message. And then it's about being consistent. If you're going to use a platform, and for me, and I'm no social media guru, but I enjoy it, and I latched onto Twitter in my early time of marketing. And when I started with Twitter probably 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, for financial planning, not just to follow random feeds, I had about 300 followers. As of yesterday, that's about 10,700 followers. And I realized then I need to leverage that in various multimedia streams. So using audio, visual, and written. And then, as Francois said, try and be everywhere for the right reasons, so that it's a confirmation, it's an edification of the work that you do, and people will see and notice you. The spin-off to that is I've now gotten so busy that I have to close my diary from time to time. And prospective clients get a bit annoyed that they have to wait months before they can have an appointment. And I often feel quite guilty for that, but I need to do the excellent work I do with the people that are with me right now. So having that waiting list is very humbling, but it also shows that for me, I'm doing good stuff and people want to work with me.
No, I love that. And I just want to congratulate you on what you're doing. I think you're doing all the right things. And I think the thing that's definitely, well, not thinking, I know, the thing that is really pulling all of this together is your consistency, apart from the quality work that you do and all of that. So, and you are very, like, there's nobody you don't engage with on Twitter, for example. Like, I hate Twitter, like, with a passion. Like, I just go there and even the PROpulsion live Twitter thing, like, I used to post every week, but I stopped. It's just like, I don't know, I'm more of a LinkedIn person, but you manage in all that noise on Twitter to find your audience, to find people that want to engage with you, and that you have great conversations on there. And I think a lot of that has also led to the TV and the radio and all the other stuff that happens, because people see you and they like what you say and how you say it. But it didn't happen overnight, as you said, you know. So yeah, absolutely. Terence, I hope you're going to stick around, because we're going to do the draw now for people to see who's going to win that ticket. But thank you so much. I think it was an amazing interview. Sure, no, we can do an hour of this easily, if not an hour and a half. So just thank you very much, and well done on the great work that you do. It's really inspiring. I think, you know, you're inspired by people, but you inspire a lot of people. I don't think you realize that. So well done for that. And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Francois. And if anyone has questions or wants to chat, they must please reach out to me. I'm on all the social medias. So as you said, and let's talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to check out his, where is it now? Let me just see. Here we go. There's Terence's website address as well, Rich Ideas. We didn't get to where the name came from, but so let's wait until the end. Maybe we've got time to say that. So I'm quite keen to hear where the name sort of originated from. But yeah, if you want to reach out to Terence, all his links are down below, his LinkedIn as well as his website, etc. It's down in the description here on the YouTube channel. And with that, yeah, so let's do the draw, but this is first end of the segment properly. All right, Terence. So let me put us down here, and then we're going to do the draw. So if you still want to sneak in, you need to comment. If you haven't commented yet, you can comment anything. Like, I don't care what it is, how amazing Terence is, how amazing the show is, how amazing today is. If you want to see, just quickly, there's the view again. Just look at as the sun is rising. Unfortunately, I can't see the sun rising, but at least as the light is spilling over everything, you know, I will also reveal where I am. But yeah, so for first, let's start with the draw. So I'm about to do the draw, and you'll be able to see who's going to win a ticket to the Global Financial Planning Conference taking place next week, the 17th and 18th. Everything is recorded. It's going to be available for 12 months afterwards, as well as the day of CPD. So here we go. If you're not, somebody snuck in. There's entry number 23. Alrighty, so hold on your breath. Here we go. Watch this. Watch this. Oh, what's happening? What's happening? Let's see. Let's see what's going to happen. David Kopp. Fantastic, fantastic. So David, there you go. So now I just saved you 290 Rand. You can buy me coffee soon. So David, I will be in touch. So that was completely random. So thank you very much for all the comments and all the conversation. There was great conversations. So Terence, like, I haven't brought everything onto the screen, but you're welcome to go and check out what people have been saying, you know, on YouTube and all of that. So please, you're more than welcome to go and engage there as well. And ladies and gentlemen, yeah, with that, next week my guest will be Johan Bester from Advice Tech. So they're sort of a new kid on the block, been around for the last 18 months or so, and doing some great work. So I'm going to talk to him and sort of showcase a little bit about their system. So that's going to be next week, same time, same place. So thank you for joining me. And where am I? Yeah, I gotta say, where am I? Like, guys, I'm in Somerset West at the moment. So yeah, that's Gordon's Bay in the back. and what a view from here. But anyway, thank you very much. So we'll be back same time, same place. Stay safe, be blessed, and remember to raise the bar. And love you lots. Bye bye.